ladies and gentlemen, to Oceanside, California, on the Southern California coast for the Morey Boogie National Bodyboard Championships. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Jam, and we're gathered here on a beautiful, sunny Southern California day to watch the top pros in the sport of bodyboarding competing for the national championship. And joining me on the broadcast today, giving us some insights into the sport, is a gentleman who in 1976 was the world champion on the Pro Surfing Tour, now associate publisher of Bodyboarding Magazine. This is Peter Town. And Peter, we have some terrific conditions out there.
Well, it's just phenomenal. We've got a south swell pumping in. It's 6 feet. It's glassy. It's coming all the way from the southern hemisphere, so it's really, really good. And we're going to see tremendous bodyboarding action out here. I think some of the best conditions we've ever seen for a bodyboarding event here in California, without question.
And we are going to take a short break, but don't you go away. We'll be right back with all the action at the Morey Boogie National Bodyboard Championships. Ladies and gentlemen, for the Morey Boogie National Bodyboard Championships. I'm Steve Jam along with Peter Townend calling the action for you today. We're getting ready now for the Pro Men's Finals. Actually, this contest today is made up of many different classifications, age groups, etc. However, we're going to concentrate on the professionals today. And in regard to that, we've got great conditions PT. What are these pros going to be working with out there?
Well, you know, like I said in the opening, the 6-foot conditions, and it's just going to be phenomenal action. The guys are going to look to get into that outside peak and go for the big move. There's going to be a few tube rides, I think. We're going to see some El Rolos definitely in the critical section. They're going to be the big moves. Of course, they're going to try to connect the inside and do something on the inside shore break and maximize those points. So, you know, it's going to be really, really tough competition. And we got those names once again, you know, you guys like Mike Stewart. How can you forget about him? The defending champion here, Keith Sasaki, he's looking really good. Local guy David Kniff is looking tremendous out here.
And being from Oceanside, he's got that local wave knowledge. Kainoa McGee from Honolulu, Hawaii. Chris Cunningham from Huntington Beach, California, and Mark Morgan from Carlsbad round at the field.
There's going to be unreal action.
I think also, PT, you're going to see varying styles in riding techniques. We've got some guys that choose to opt for the drop knee style of riding, some in the prone position. It makes for a lot of exciting action. As you indicated earlier, Peter, the defending champion for this event is Keith Sasaki from San Clemente, California. He's won this event 5 times, and I asked him earlier what his strategy would be to defend his title.
Well, I've been keeping an eye on the conditions over the last couple hours, and I've been seeing quite a bit of a change. I'm going to have to conform to that change. You know, basically get as many good maneuvers as I can. Just become in sync with whatever wave I catch. And if I, you know, can't perform the maneuvers that I've been performing over the course of the last couple of days, I'll be successful.
We're going to take a moment now to look back at semifinal action. You can take your sunglasses off because it wasn't quite as sunny early in the morning. Let's take a look now. Early in the morning fog is still sitting off the Oceanside Pier, and it is just about impossible to see the guys out in the water. However, there is great surf and there's great action going on. For instance, Mike Stewart in semifinal number 1.
Well, even with the fog, you can't fail to see Mike Stewart, and he put on a great opening show in this heat.
Another new pro, Mark Morgan from just down the road in Carlsbad, California, making use of a very small wave here, but he's got a nice little face to work with. You see him in the drop knee now. He tries to stand up and decides that's not the wave to try that on. From Irvine, California, long and lanky and radical as ever, Pat Caldwell.
Well, Pat Caldwell's the accomplished veteran, and he always puts on a great show too in opening heats, and this was no exception here. He got some great moves in the good California conditions.
From South Laguna, California, getting a real nice cover-up and a beautiful El Rolo on a very nice wave, Greg Doss.
Well, a new face here, Greg Doss from Laguna Beach, putting on a great show.
Semifinal number 1 was filled with a lot of surprises and great surfing, but only 2 of the 4 finalists could go, and one of them is this man, Mark Morgan, from Carlsbad, California. The other finalist will be Mike Stewart, the world champion from Kailua Kona, Hawaii. He'll be going to the finals, and he has now been in the finals of every contest he's entered. Semifinal number 2. You can see it's starting to lighten up just a little bit, but there is fog out there. It didn't stop Keith Sasaki, the defending champion.
Well, Keith looked in great form, and he's probably the world's best exponent of the drop knee stance, and he was just using it to great effect here in these conditions. Actually, these conditions were suiting them very well.
And there's that local guy from Oceanside, Dave Kniff, doing a wonderful job on a nice little right, doing some belly spins, looking around trying to get speed. stringing his maneuvers together. There's another 360 and a beautiful little cover-up in the shore break. Also, Jay Reel from San Clemente, California, by way of Maryland.
Well, Jay's the world's #1 East Coast bodyboarder, and he also uses that drop knee stance like Keith Sasaki.
Another semi-finalist, Kevin Okamura from Honolulu, Hawaii.
Well, Kaven's a real power bodyboarder, and you can see that great move he just pulled off on that wave right there.
And advancing to the finals will be Dave Kniff from Oceanside, California. And going along with him from semifinal number 2 is the defending champion, Keith Sasaki from San Clemente, California. Semi-final number 3. Finally, the sun is beginning to come out, and you can see the end of the Oceanside Pier, and a great heat is in progress. We start off with Larry Lowen from Goleta, California, getting a beautiful little under-the-lip cover-up, and he ducks out of that just as the wave closes out. Also from Honolulu, Kainoa McGee, a first-year pro.
Well, the world of bodyboarding is expecting big things from Kainoa, and he has a great shot here, I think, in this event.
Another Hawaiian, Joey Vieira from Oahu's North Shore in Haleiwa.
Well, another new face in the world of bodyboarding this year is Joey Vieira, and he's been looking very well. He's a very accomplished bodyboarder. He puts together nice combinations, kind of similar in some ways to Mike Stewart, and he does really fluid combinations, gets them all the way to the inside and keeps those nice belly spins going.
And from Huntington Beach, California, Chris Cunningham doing a fantastic job today. Nice power roll as the wave closes out, working his way into shore. He also does the drop knee style and does it very well. But advancing to the finals, Kainoa McGee from Honolulu, Hawaii. And the man from Huntington Beach, Chris Cunningham. These guys are going to the finals. One of the things that the competitors here today are competing for is an opportunity to go to Hawaii in January to compete in the Morey Boogie International Contest. Let's take a trip there and see what it's all about. On the north side of the island of Oahu, on the opposite side from Honolulu, is the world-famous North Shore. Here, of course, are some of the most famous surf breaks in the entire world, among them being the famous Bonsai Pipeline. And it's here every January that Morey Boogie holds its annual International Bodyboarding Championship, featuring bodyboarders from all over the world. But the real stars at the pipeline are the waves. Enthusiastic crowd gathers on the beach, people from all over the world, watching their favorites in some of the biggest waves on the planet, some of the best competition and the most prestige in the sport. Just in case you think that I'm talking out of the other side of my face, that's Mike Stewart doing a perfect El Rolo on a beautiful pipeline barrel. Now, not everybody is quite as fortunate as Mike. But one of the signs of a world champion is knowing when to get in and when to get out. And that's why Mike Stewart is the defending champion of the international event. Well, PT, the stage has been set for some great competition, and we are going to be right back after we take a short break with the men's final, so stay with us. Welcome back to Oceanside, ladies and gentlemen, for the finals of the Morey Boogie National Bodyboard Championships. I'm Steve Jam along with Peter Town. And Peter, we're getting ready now for the finals. Any insights or predictions?
Well, as usual, you know, you got to put your money on Mike Stewart. How can you not put your money on him? He's a phenomenal competitor, and we have great surf out here today, and he excels when the surf's good. You know, we've got good 6-foot conditions. But I think there's going to be some pressure from a local guy by the name of David Kniff. He's been really good out here. Semi-finals, he was excellent. And also the two young guys, Kainoa McGee and Chris Cunningham. I mean, they're both pushing early pros here, and they really want to get a big score on the board.
Well, they've got their work cut out for them. The conditions look outrageous today, folks. Let's go now to the finals.
And it's interesting, we have a lot of variety in style here. We have 3 guys who do really strong drop knee maneuvers in Kainoa McGee, Chris Cunningham, and of course Keith Sasaki. The 3 other guys tend to stay in a prone position and go for the big power roll move. So I think that we're going to see some really interesting contrast of styles.
And it looks like we have a rider on the wave right now. He's immediately going for the cover-up. Let's see who that is.
And it's Kainoa McGee. He was covered up there from the takeoff there, Steve, and we couldn't really tell as he took off right in the barrel. You can see a couple of belly spins on the inside there, and that was a great late takeoff, and he's working that wave all the way inside. He gets in that drop knee stance, and he'll make his way into the shore.
Now, there was a good example. You talked just a moment ago about the difference in riding styles. Some people going prone, some people up in the drop knee style. We saw Kainoa, who does both, go to the prone position there and go for the cover-up.
Well, outside, Steve, looks like kicking for this wave, and kicking hard. It's going to be 2 riders going off together, and we have an interference call, and one competitor has lost their board. We can see in the yellow right there, that's Mike Stewart, the world champion. He was involved in an interference call from the takeoff, and I believe it was Dave Kniff.
I think you're right. Right now, Dave Kniff throwing his hands up. We've got Sasaki outside now in the drop knee stance, doing a 360, trying to stall the wave. Is closing out now. He is pretty much, well, he's dropped down into the prone position, but I think that will be the big move.
Well, I think we should go back and take a look at that interference call that was taking place in the early going there of that exchange, and it was between Mike Stewart and Dave Kniff, and it looked like Mike Stewart did get into the wave first, and they both went into belly spins and collided halfway down the face. So I'm not sure what the official decision from the judges are, but I think Mike Stewart might got the better of it, and I think Dave Kniff has a penalty.
Getting back to what you were saying, PT, what happened on that wave?
Look at this, though, Steve. Look, Mark Morgan standing up and going for the big re-entry there, and he goes down. That was a big move there from Mark Morgan, the local boy who's made good here in the finals. He gets off to a start there with a radical stand-up maneuver and just goes down.
Now, that's another style that we are seeing emerge very slowly in this sport. It hasn't really caught on to any great degree yet. There are a few people, Danny Kim being one. He's not in today's competition, but he has mastered that style. What do you see as the future?
Well, I'm not sure, but here we go with Chris Cunningham outside kicking into this wave. He gets up in that drop knee stance. He's coming along into a rather whitewatery section, goes up for a rebound off the whitewater there. He gets back on his prone position on his stomach there, comes in front of the whitewater, and he's trying to beat that whitewater inside, and he'll go inside with a belly spin. Oh, and he catches that edge of that bodyboard there, and he has to make his way back outside.
But outside, looks like we've got another wave shaping up here, and we have a rider on his board. It's Mike Stewart, starting off with a 360 to get things going now. He's going to try to work his way around that whitewater and make his way into the critical section. There, he's got it. Another 360. Mike is looking around for some sort of a big move, but it doesn't look like it's going to be on this wave. So he's just going to do his 360 belly spins and get as many points as he can before he has to turn around and head out again.
Well, here's a nice peak starting to take shape. A couple of competitors out there right in the wedge and kicking into it, going left. It looked like green Mark Morgan, the local boy, but coming towards us here at the pier and up in that kneeling stance is Keith Sasaki with a radical off the lip there in that kneeling stance. Also down the other side, Mark Morgan went for one too, but he couldn't stay with it, and Sasaki still works it over. Meanwhile, outside, look at Chris Cunningham's belly spin in the lip there, and further down the line, a lot of action going on here. We're trying to pick up who that is into another El Rolo down there in the closeout.
That would be Mark Morgan. And that was a nice exchange right there. Now, outside again, we've got Dave Kniff with the wave all to himself. 360 spin now. He's trying to get around the whitewater, looking for the shoulder of that wave. And it's the speed, it's kind of dying. There he goes. He punches through the whitewater. A nice little spinning maneuver there, a little El Rolo. And he makes his way into the beach. So Dave Kniff finally getting himself off to a good start after that interference call earlier.
Well, Kniff looks like he's got his composure back after that incident with Mike Stewart. Well, a couple of spectators checking out the action here at the Morey Boogie Finals, and outside, Mike Stewart into a nice peak. He does a nice belly spin from takeoff. Another nice belly spin into a power roll as the whitewater closes out all around him. He's trying to battle it. Here he comes. He bursts out, looking to set up for another maneuver here in the whitewater. Into a belly spin and continuing to look, and that'll be it for Mike Stewart on that one.
Well, it's going to be, I think the left over here is probably a little bit better than the right, so I'm going to try string a bunch of maneuvers in on the left and basically just trying to get as critical as I can.
Well, as Stewart sprints back to the pier to make his way back out, you can see by his comments there he pretty much accomplished all of that on that last wave we saw just a few moments ago.
And up and riding now, it looks like Keith Sasaki in the prone position.
Well, this wave looks pretty disappointing for Keith. He's looking around trying to make something happen, but not too much going to happen here, I think.
Now he's paddling to try to get some momentum going, looking around, really not too much to do. Now he goes to the drop knee stance. He feels comfortable. He's getting a reform. Nice 360. Coming into the inside now. He's down prone again, paddling to try to get that speed up and back into the drop knee. And he's going to be closed out upon as that wave closes. So that was a good ride for Keith Sasaki.
And here goes Mark Morgan again, the local boy from here, from Carlsbad. He goes into a belly spin there. He's trying to get the speed, a little cut back there. This wave, a rather small wave, he's really not getting opportunity to do any big moves. Meanwhile, outside, Steve, a better looking wave taking shape.
And it looks like Kainoa McGee now is going to get on this in the drop knee stance. He is doing his belly spins down in the white water now.
And outside, though, look at this wave for Dave Kniff, an Oceanside local. He's got a big section in front of him. He goes for the big power roll, and he pulls it off there. Kniff with a great outside move. Let's see. Oh, but he's lost his board here, and his board's just going in by itself. And Kniff, after that great move outside, has lost his board there in the whitewater. And you can see him swimming outside. He's going to try and body surf in here. You can see what he's doing there. He's swimming over towards the pier. Actually, I'm not quite sure what he's doing. He might be paddling over to the pier to get another board. And it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I think there might be a friend of his out there that's going to drop a board over the side.
As a matter of fact, it is a girlfriend, so Dave Kniff is well prepared. There goes the board down into the water, so really no harm done there.
Well, I'm not too sure about that. You know, I don't know what the rules are. I'm not sure whether you're allowed to have somebody out on the pier that can give you another board. So we'll have to wait for an official ruling on that, but I've always thought that you had to get back to the beach to get a board.
Peter, outside we have Kainoa McGee now up in the drop knee stance on a nice wave off the top. Nice re-entry, little cover up in the white water. He likes that, and now he's down into the prone position outside.
Chris Cunningham kicking into this left here, and he's going to trim as hard as he can. He's got a real power section to go around in a nice belly spin right in the critical section. A floater off the white water there, and Chris Cunningham with two strong moves outside, and he kicks out of that wave, deciding to make his way back out after two good outside moves. Meanwhile, outside, a peak taking shape for Mike Stewart. He spins around there, and he's going left this time. He goes into a nice belly spin on the open face there. He comes off the bottom again, and now he's cranking it down the line, trying to build up that speed into another belly spin. Here comes a section in front of him into an El Rolo right there in the critical section. Then he bursts out of the whitewater and keeps working it to the inside. And Stewart there getting a good wave over there towards the other side of the Oceanside pier, and he still works it inside, and that will be a good scoring ride for Mike Stewart.
So Mike Stewart showing his stuff today in Oceanside. And outside, we've got someone paddling, it looks like.
Mark Morgan there on that wave, and he spins into a belly spin now. He's got a section to beat, and he can't quite get round it, and he gets out of it, but outside. And I think it's Kainoa McGee in position for a great left, and he's up in that kneeling stance. He's going for the barrel. He's stalling in the pocket. He's right in the pocket there. He gets covered up, and he comes out, and Kainoa's still going in that big section, and he just gets creamed in that section down there. And a great ride from Kainoa McGee, traveling in the barrel for a long time.
And outside, Sasaki's found himself another. He's going for the cover up. He's out of it. Nice cover up, and now the wave closes out. He's going to go down into the white water. A really fine exchange, and I think that Kainoa McGee's wave was probably the wave of the heat right now, Peter.
Well, back-to-back barrels there, Steve, and you see Kainoa get beautifully covered up from the takeoff there. He skirts around this little section. He comes into this big section here, and it just closes out on him, crunches him right there on the sandbar. Here's another look at it from another angle up on the pier. You see him stalling there, gets covered up nicely, and skirts into that big closeout as it closed on his head. Even our waterman got it, and you see him, he's right in the pocket, nearly ran him over as he came at us. Well, that'll probably be his final ride. As we see outside, a little wave starting to take shape as Dave Kniff swinging around, and this will probably be his last ride also. He goes left, and here you see the hooter sounded right there. He stalls, gets a little cover up. He goes into a belly spin on the open face, and this will be the final ride of this final here at the Morey Boogie National Championships. Kniff making his way all the way down the beach there. He's going to take that one all the way to the shore. I'm sure he'll make it all the way in because he knows it's over, and he's still working that wave all the way down. Finishes off with a power roll way down there south of the Oceanside pier.
And that's going to be it for the finals. PT, that was a great heat, but very controversial in a number of ways.
Well, it started off with that interference call with Mike Stewart and Dave Kniff involved, and the unofficial word was it a double interference, so that will probably affect the results for sure. You know, Kainoa McGee, he had a great ride on that one wave where he got an incredible cover-up. I think he's in good shape to possibly take it out. It's hard to say about the rest of them. I don't think they really had the winning waves, so we'll have to wait and see what the judges have to say.
And while we do that, you don't go away, because we're going to take a short break and be back with our winner. Welcome back to Oceanside for the conclusion of the Morey Boogie National Bodyboard Championships. PT?
Well, it's Kainoa McGee over Kisasaki, Chris Cunningham in third, and Mike Stewart a disappointing fourth.
And here is our new national champion. This is Kainoa McGee, the winner of the Morey Boogie National Bodyboard Championships, and overjoyed Kainoa McGee. Kainoa, that was a tremendous performance. First of all, you're your first year pro. You handled it like a seasoned veteran. And how did it go for you out there?
Well, I started off the heat really good. I got a solid wave, solid left drop knee wave. Then as the heat progressed, I started to feel out the peaks out there. And I got lucky enough to get a nice left barrel. I don't know how long it was, but from what I hear, everybody says it was the best wave of the heat. And thank God I caught that wave, because I think that's what pulled it off for me.
It was a magnificent wave, a tremendous performance. Kainoa McGee is going to capture the national crown here. I think you're going to have to watch for this young man. He is a name to be reckoned with in the future. And from Oceanside, California, for Peter Townend and Kainoa McGee, I'm Steve Jam saying bye-bye for now.